Joining us in the studio is a Nigerian TV host, filmmaker, and photographer. Yep. He's best known as the host of the popular Nigerian TV show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? On a lighter note, he's reputable for savage responses on social media. He knows how to give them bass. Welcome to the show, Frank Edoho.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies.
We are so honored to have you here. Do you know how many years we're watching you and admiring you and feeling, when will I have an opportunity to do this kind of thing this man is doing? And you're looking so humble. You're not humble.
No, I'm cold, actually.
No,
I'm kidding. I came armed. Yeah. Thank you so much.
How have you been doing?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm spectacular. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire is in the off season, so we're trying to get it back this year. Okay. But you know, broadcasters have many. They have multiple income revenue streams, so I do a lot of.
You get by.
Yeah, of course. If you're a broadcaster, you of course you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we do. So we'll come to you a bit later, but we have gists. Thank God you're here to gist with us and give us your own male perspective on some of these issues. Savagely, please.
About that savagery, I have no idea what you're talking about.
So we have time. We have time. Yeah, so we saw a viral video of a woman, I think Ghana origin, I'm not very sure now, who was abusing her husband, assaulting her husband, and then the child was behind the camera filming, and so she was, asking the child questions. Do you agree with what I'm doing? You hit the man. Is he lying? Is he saying the truth? Who do you prefer? And all of that. And I don't know the details of what was going on in that video, but what caught my attention, or what was concerning for me, was the fact that a child was involved in their squabble, and the child was witnessing what was going on. So you're standing there as a child, you're videoing your parents, it could be a man, it could be a woman, who is hitting the other person, abusing the other person, and you are recording, you are a part of the conversation. And I'm very worried for that child's mental health. And I'm bringing the story to the table, and I would like, Nima has more details of that story to quickly establish the gun inside that was happening there.
That happened. So, this family lives in Belgium, wife and husband and their daughter, and she's abusive of the man.
Allegedly.
So she allegedly. So allegedly, she says she made the child hold up a phone to prove in a confrontation of the man that he lied about allegations of abuse of him. And in the same video, she proceeds to abuse. She jack her for neck. When women jack her for neck, they know they assault her. They are confronting. I don't believe for her. I jack her for trousers. I jack her. So she jack her for neck. She didn't let go. She no greed for him, and then eventually she's butting him, kicking him in all of that video, pushes him on the ground, and the man does nothing but apologize and deny the allegation. Their little daughter was seen in the video to add to the context of the gravity of what is happening. She's seen in the video saying to her mom that he's lying. You're lying, saying to the dad that you're lying, and saying to the mom he's lying, meaning that it's not the first time for her. Something, the parents have their issues, but the girl is a party in the marriage. She's the third party inside. And so he right in front of her, drags the man and falls him down, continues to kick, beat, harass him, assault him, and the man just didn't do nothing till the end of the video.
It did not end that when she had finished assaulting him, she became breathless. She was panting from beating and assaulting her husband.
Whoa. So the question here is, how do we, because I understand that relationships will definitely have disagreements. If you're married to somebody, you are coming from your own family with a different background to meet another person. Together you have clashes, you have quarrels from time to time, you have arguments from time to time. But how do we handle it in such a way that we're able to resolve the issue better? We're not involving our children in the issues, because it's not supposed to be their business, right? How do we, I would like you ladies to give me your thoughts on what you think we can do better.
Gentlemen.
So, couples fight. My marriage is 16 years this year. And so we're only two.
Veteran.
So we're only two in my marriage, myself and my husband. But once in a while, you experience your kids eavesdropping, walking in. Sometimes you have heated arguments and you don't even remember that one child is walking past. I feel very embarrassed that I then have to sit and try to mentally wash their minds off what they heard or see. And so you can only imagine how I feel watching this video. I watched it over and over. The girl wasn't walking past. She was an involved party. She sit down, hold the phone, and the mom was engaging the girl. Can you see he's lying? He told Auntie Mary. He said, is that true? Did he not do that? Did you tell? And all she was addressing was, did you tell? You know?
This is supposed to be like a simple issue.
Did you tell her? Did you tell him? It did not read there. But you know, while she's doing that, she's saying, I will beat him. She's confirming. So this is a very clear case of an abusive woman. Yeah. And we most times shy from admitting how some women are wired like this. But you know, in the countries where there are more women's rights and all of that, when these kind of women live there, they get away with things like this. She deliberately put up that phone to prove her innocence to the allegation.
And she set it up for herself. So for me, go ahead. Okay. So for me, it's really sad to watch, especially, you know, watching a child being, as far as I'm concerned, socialized and indoctrinated into being a person that accepts or participates or encourages abuse between husband and wife. She's seen her father and her mother do it, and she will grow up thinking it's acceptable, unless by some, divine intervention she learns otherwise. It's also sad that, that video, there's this thing where when we talk about abuse in marriages, we tend to highlight the man's faults. There's something we don't like to talk about, which is provocation. Because for many of us, when you try to talk about provocation, they think that you are validating or encouraging or justifying abuse. But I'm just looking at that video. If you see, that man didn't do anything. As she pulled him, she insulted him in front of his child, called him names, dragged him, pulled him, pushed him on the floor. He did not raise his hands. Yeah. Imagine if at the very end he did. The story would be how he slapped her. But nobody would talk about all the things she had done to that point. She pushed him to the floor. And when she did, she started panting. Imagine if he had just held her hand really tight. That panting, she would say, is because he almost stopped the blood flow. And so sometimes, when we talk about these issues, let us be honest enough to also talk about provocation. People don't, we have conversations where we say there's no justification, there's no, yes, I hear you, but sometimes there is a reason why someone feels like you have put me in such a tight corner, I need to protect myself. So we're talking to women as well. If you decide to attack someone, sometimes be careful what that response will be. Not everyone will be, will be willing to do what that man did. And I can bet you that man did that for that child. He's looking at his child and thinking, I'm not even going to, that's one, and I'm not going to even do that. I'm thinking in my mind, I'm not even going to make my child see that. This is a child also in the conversation that has been part of this conversation for many years. This is not the first time it has happened. She's comfortable, because most children, when they find their families, their parents in that issue, in that situation,
they're confused.
They are sad. They are confused and they are crying. Mommy, what are you doing, Daddy? This is a child that obviously she's seen this too many times. And it's truly sad. I hope, because they're in a country where they're, developed country, that when they'll be able to take that child and sit with her and give her the proper therapy that she needs. And for me, that one, case for divorce, I don't even know why they're together.
Honestly. Amaka, what do you think?
So for me, first of all, I find it funny, like, as in the woman, I don't know what she was thinking. Like, you're saying that someone accused you of something, then you're gathering the evidence.
That's how they are.
Against your own narcissist. Against your own self. Like, as in, what was she thinking? At some point, she said, off camera.
So I can deal with this.
So I can deal with this man. The way I want to deal with him. So, that's funny. And then, like, telling the child to even record that's on a different level. I understand that in Nigeria, like I always say, 99% of us need therapy. Because whether we like it or not, most of us grew up in homes where
these things were
happening, normal where parents would quarrel and have disagreements. I, for one, like my parents, they are basically classmates. So their love is out of this world. When you sit down with my dad and my mom, what they talk about is each other. They are so PDA and everything. And then when they want to quarrel like this, everything will scatter. The next week they continue again. So I grew up in a home where I see the wholesomeness of a relationship.
Yeah.
Yes, I saw complete package of a relationship. I know. Yes. Yes.
Even the relationship going up and down. Like, you need therapy too. Because it's joyful now, then it goes.
Exactly. You've said it all. Like I said, I always say that we need therapy in this country, and I just wish that, and it's so sad that we're not even tapping into that. You're not saying maybe you're sick or something. No, we need therapy. We're childhood trauma, the relationship with our mothers, everything, because our mothers can only give us what they know, where they're coming from. So sometimes you feel like they don't love you. They love you. So this woman now, what she has done is wrong, but then you can see that. I'm trying to look at it from a different perspective. That so what the husband did pained her. That means there's love there, because if you don't love person, the person to know could pain you. No, violence is wrong, right? We're not condoning violence, right? Yeah. We're not condoning violence. We're not condoning the fact that the child was there, right? But I'm also looking at it from a perspective that you find out that most marriages, when the feelings are dead, you don't want anymore. You don't even have time for reaction. Yeah. You're working like you're becoming different. Okay, so but sometimes when certain things pain you that you want to react like that, you say, your heart still there, they matter. But you can't say, but you know, try. So you carry our matter go outside.
Yes, So what I see is the woman doesn't have any respect for the man at all. It has gone to the point. I think the man is also disrespecting himself to stay in that toxic environment, that kind of thing. I'll just carry my suitcase and leave, because one of us is going to die very soon. It's either she succeeds in killing the man, or the man, after all that pent-up rage, you understand, then he just gets to the...
and 25 days.
Yeah. And so I feel, and also the temerity for the woman to give the child a phone, and the child, obviously that's not the first time, because the child is recording and doing live commentary. You understand? So she's so comfortable, she thinks it's the norm and everything. Definitely, like you said, that child is going to need therapy. You know, it's going to need a lot of therapy. So there are many, I know it's a foreign video, but there are many people that go through that in Nigeria. Some men, they just stay there. They say men love unconditionally. And some of them are found in a place where they were like, I mean, everybody's like this. I mean, they start having that Stockholm syndrome of saying many men are going through this and they are silent. Why should I be any different? So they tolerate it and they look at the children and say, okay, I don't want to leave the home, give the children a broken home. So, you know, but that man there, I mean, with all the fisticuffs the wife is engaged in with him, I feel he should have left 3 years earlier, because that woman is not going to stop. That woman wants, she wants a logical conclusion. She wants something to happen. I don't know where it stemmed from. I don't know what the origin of the animosity. So I don't even having it and comfortably involving your child. I mean, she doesn't know how to raise children. She doesn't have regard for anybody, her husband or even the family ecosystem. She just wants to destroy. And ironically, you see that woman might have be in an affair where she adores the ground that the partner works on. So so it's just.
So let me ask you this question, and I'll come to the ladies. How does love turn to hate? Because, you know, when you're starting the relationship, you are admiring everything about this particular person. And even when the disagreement starts coming, you still have at the back of your mind that I love this person, we'll find a way to work it through or work it out. But after a while, it now seems like you are seeing a different person totally. Two of you have become so different. How do we get to a point where love turns to hate? Is it possible, or is there any way we can avoid it getting to that level in a relationship?
Well, many years ago, I watched a movie called The Thin Line Between Love and Hate. That was Lynn Whitfield and Martin Lawrence. And I was just watching the movie. It was like a dark comedy. So I watched it, and I was just, I was like, come on, there's no way that can happen, because they became very toxic to each other, especially the lady. The lady was like obsessed. Then they weren't even married, I think. So he wanted to leave the relationship. The lady said she's going to kill him or something like that. So there's a thin line between love and hate, because the pheromones you experience at the beginning of a relationship, it's all fireworks and everything. That cannot be maintained. You understand? So, and sometimes when you meet someone, maybe you have physical attraction for each other and mistake it for that, oh, this is going to happen for a long time. Then it doesn't happen. Then maybe you get hitched before the fireworks, subside. Then you be like, oh my goodness. You wake up one day and say, I'm stuck with this idiot. Or like,
is that the size of his nose?
Why does he eat like that? Jesus. You didn't know because you were in love. You were in love. You were head over heels in love with the other person. And I'm not talking only about from the woman, I'm talking the man too. As well. Yeah, the man as well. The man might have issues and gets tired easily of partners, and they get married, and the man will like, look at all these other beautiful women outside, and look at one lady I met, the way she treated me, So I think the mistake partners do, especially ones that are in long-term relationships, is that you see someone, I think they call it the 80-20% debacle. Yes, rule. Yeah, so you see someone, he's 80% of what you need, but because you've stayed with the person for a long time, the 80% is still there, but you don't see it because you're like, see finish now. Then you now see someone that has 20% of what this 80 doesn't have. Then you start getting attracted to that person, but you feel that person is complete because 80% is still here, but you have the best of both worlds. When that 80% gets tired and leaves, and you go up, you now say,
your eye go clean.
Jesus, this is 20%. Then you now start going, that's when everything, you now say, okay, I want to go back to that 80%.
Should I tell you how African men deal with it? You marry more women.
I'm looking for 20, you have 40, you have 60.
Then he ends up with 480.
Let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.